March 20th, 2019. First official day of spring, and it is beautiful out. 55 and sunny. Just put the ram pump back online. It's supposed to stay relatively warm at night from now on. I think we can keep that on for a while at least. Nice to have water handy again for chickens and greenhouse and all that kind of stuff. This is where I mulched with the Massey back in the late fall. I got to come in here with an iron rake and just, you know, even this mulch out a little bit. And then I think we're going to put most of the garlic in here this year, since it's already mulched and I've worked the soil for a little bit, a couple of years. You can see the Texas tarragon remnants from last year. And see, these were leeks and scallions in here, and it looks like they're alive beneath the surface, so maybe they will come back. That would be awesome. I didn't get as heavy a mulch layer on as I wanted to, and I also see some chewed off ones here and there. It looks like the deer have been in here munching too over the winter. In fact, it's quite obvious the deer have been in here. Looks like a doe. Nice warm spring breeze. And that sun feels fantastic. I've been missing the sun, and my vitamin D levels are low. Wood pile is pretty depleted. We burned a lot of fuel this winter. It was a cold one. Enough left to get us through till April, I would think. Worst case, I can always go knock and drag one. Even if we get a snowstorm at this point, should melt off fairly fast. So made out good on firewood this season. So that was nice. Tractor made a huge difference in that. Man, did that make life so much easier. Splitter pull start broke back in, I don't know, late January, early February. I looked up the cost of the new pull starter. It's like 75 or 80 bucks. And I have an old mower here with a 12 horse electric start engine on it. That's a 6.5 on there now. I think for the same amount of money I can switch that 12 horse over and set it up with electric start and upgrade the splitter. So I think that's what I'm going to do, because that's a nice splitter, and a little more engine and a little easier starting will make that a lot more convenient to use. Tractor's running great. Started cleaning up some of the stuff here on the farm. Gonna get things organized and get ready for another growing season. I'm excited about that. And tractor's going in for some service work this end of this week. Hopefully we'll get the broken swing piston fixed on that. I'll show you that quick. So here we are on the business end of the backhoe, and you can see that broke off. I'll take you around the other side quick. There you go. Now you can see the brake point here. Gonna get that repaired. And then we got some hydraulic lines to do. Need 2 new lines for the hoe. This stabilizer I think is good. We got broken line on this one, so we'll probably do that. And there's a couple of welds here. This lock-up ear, and have to get the appropriate pins for the spin lock. I just put these on to restrict the backhoe when I'm going on side slopes from swinging too far over. It was yoking over further because it would lift the chain and take it over. I just didn't want that much counterweight working against me on a side slope. So I guess that's the tractor stuff. This is a solar hot water panel I got along with the tractor and some other equipment this fall. I think I'm going to set this up to help heat the greenhouse for next grow season, next greenhouse season. And I use it to help boost the thermal mass bank. The way I calculate that should be between 10 and 15,000 BTUs per hour in good direct sunlight. So that should help knock down some extra heat during the day. Ram pump pool is virtually empty at the moment. I probably will start refilling that soon. We're far enough along now that that shouldn't freeze if I fill it up and we get a cold several nights or whatever. There's enough thermal mass there to carry it. So we'll be getting that filled back up. Might give that a scrub and drain quick first. We'll see. Just absolutely gorgeous in the greenhouse these days. Nice and warm. I fed these 2 or 3 days ago, and you can see everything from my thumb up, that's all new growth since I foliar fed. So they're taking off and getting ready to rock out for the season. I will not make the same mistake this year and put them out too early. We got a snowstorm and a cold night last year and did them a lot of damage. Nasturtiums are hiding out down here in the corner. They're blooming, doing wonderful. The vents are open to the skies. Is that a doorway to heaven? Ram pump water flow is reflected in the charts. See the green line right here is the spike, and then it drops down and levels out. That's our water temperature sensor here. That's right here outside the greenhouse where this T comes off for the greenhouse feed. There's a sensor in that T, and that's where we monitor our water temperature as it flows up from the ram pump. So this is flock 2. I just put flock 1 back in their coop. Let flock 2 out so they can scratch and peck and do their thing. They're very happy to get out. So 5 chickens in flock 2, 7 chickens in flock 1, 2 roosters, 1 for each flock. Redundancy. Let's see, RAID is redundant array of inexpensive discs. This would be RAKE, redundant array of inexpensive chickens. Although Icelandics weren't all that inexpensive, but you get the point. Still patches of residual snow around in the shadier spots, but it's going away quick. The ground is thawing, and that reminds me, I'll throw up a soil temps chart for you here. Outside temps and 3, 6, 9, and 12 inches depth in the soil. It's this time of year I'm very tempted to go off for a walk in the woods, but there are too many things to do. But one of these nice warm days I am going to take a walk in the woods. Maybe I'll take the camera with me and get some shots. There is some beautiful stuff out here on this farm. It's gorgeous. Anyway, I thought you'd appreciate the maple stand. Not doing sap this year, but maybe next year or the year after, we'll see how things go. But these are all hard maples in the stand, and they're nice mature trees, and they produce sap really nice. This is kind of a swamp area just below the maple stands. I remember there being a lot of skunk cabbage in here, and I thought I would come down and take a look. I don't know if any of my viewers watch Frederick Dunn's channel, but he does some excellent videos on beekeeping and that kind of stuff, and some entomology and interactions between bees and yellow jackets and all sorts of stuff. But he did a video recently on skunk cabbage, and apparently skunk cabbage actually creates its own heat to help itself melt through the snow, and then additionally, it's one of the first flowers that honeybees go after, along with some of the maple trees, which aren't really quite budding out yet, but they should be very soon. And also the willows are also pretty early flowering. So people are often asking, well, what are honeybees collecting from early in the season before I see anything growing? Well, skunk cabbage is one of them, and I'll see if I can find some skunk cabbage, and we'll see what stage it's in here. Pretty cool burl on this oak tree. Ding ding ding! Winner, winner, winner! We have a winner! Found some skunk cabbage. Let's see, so this is one coming up in the swamp, and so apparently from what Fred was saying, when these get a little further along, or maybe earlier, I think further along, they open up enough and they start to flower, and so the honeybees can come in here and collect pollen, and then if it gets cold on them and they get trapped in there, it keeps them warm overnight, and they can come out the next day when it opens up again. You should definitely go check out that video on skunk cabbage and the thermal imaging. In fact, I'll put a link in the description. So that's one skunk cabbage there. They're all through here. I should just point out that they're all over. And that little cluster of leaves sticking up, that's another one coming up under it. This stuff is prolific in here. I always thought it was a neat plant to check out, and I don't think it smells as bad as some people do. And some of them get these nice red colors on them. See if I can get out of the way of the sunlight here. That's one of my favorite things, is seeing things popping up in the spring. Oh, and look, this one's partially open. Maybe? Looks like it. I don't know if you can see. Sorry about the focus. If you can see down in there, I'm going to peel this open a bit more. Yeah, I think that's actually starting to flower there. Or maybe it's already gone by, I'm not sure. I'm not too familiar with this plant. But I thought I would share that because I found it very interesting. So here's another nice swampy area where there's skunk cabbage popped up all through it. And with that darker mud there, I'm sure this warmed up quicker than some of the other swamp areas. In fact, I'll step down in here and we'll see if we can find one that's open. And I'll also give you a shot further into the western direction of the swamp, off to the left side this way. And you'll see there's still snow and ice patches. So here I am standing on that log we were just looking at. We're going to go off to the left, like I said. And I know the sunlight's not in our favor, but you can see there's still snow and ice in there over that way. This is always such an interesting time of year, watching things melt back and emerge. I I don't think any of this skunk cabbage is any further along really than the other stuff. So I guess that's that for now. Hey, everybody likes a glass of milk before their nap. So that's what I do with milk when it goes bad around here. I give it to the chickens and they love it.